Hare Krishna. It's been a long time, it seems, although you may not have noticed a gap, but yeah, fortunately we got very busy and doing different things here in New York City, and but now we're getting back into regular biting on the Bhagavatam, so here we are with another Bhagavatam Bites.
Canto 4, Chapter 13, Text 29.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 29. Maitreya explained that King Anga, after hearing the statements of the priests, was greatly aggrieved. At that time he took permission from the priests to break his silence and inquired from all the priests who were present in the sacrificial arena. Text 30. King Anga addressed the priestly order. My dear priests, kindly tell me what offence I have committed. Although invited, the demigods are neither taking part in the sacrifice nor accepting their shares. Text 31. The head priest said, O king, in this life we do not find any sinful activity even within your mind, so you are not in the least offensive. But we can see that in your previous life you performed sinful activities, due to which, in spite of your having all qualifications, you have no son. Purport. The purpose of marrying is to beget a son, because the son is necessary to deliver his father and forefathers from any hellish conditional life in which they may be. Chanakya Pandit therefore says, Putra hinam griham shunyam. Without a son, married life is simply abominable. King Anga was a very pious king in this life, but because of his previous sinful activity he could not get a son. It is concluded, therefore, that if a person does not get a son, it is due to his past sinful activity.
Sinful life, yeah.
It's an interesting statement. Okay, what if you don't want a son or a daughter?
No, son or a daughter.
Yeah.
What do you want? Nothing.
Yeah.
No children. Well, Vedically, Shastrically, it means that the ashram, in one sense, it isn't an ashram if there's no children. As far as I've understood, Shastrically. But I don't know if you can hear that wind, but it's very windy today.
It's like a hurricane.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, so like that. But I guess it, in Krishna consciousness, these things don't necessarily apply in the same way, because, as I was speaking with someone yesterday, that, we cannot have any children and still look after many children, if that makes sense. So what is the point of having children? The point of having children, theoretically, is to teach one to become selfless and to learn how to care for and look after someone as a priority. And they become kind of the focus of life, and one learns how to be selfless and care for others. So if one actually learns that lesson, then that's the case. Now, I guess I was going to say something like, sadhus don't have children necessarily. Shukadeva Goswami didn't have any children, Narada Muni. But they're still exalted persons, and they cared for a lot of people. So it's finding the balance. These statements can be said, and of course Chanakya Pandit made the statement. We listen to Chanakya Pandit, Prabhupada quotes him often. So maybe what we can see is that this is how some people make the ashram abominable, because they don't have children. Does that make sense? Like, I know some people that, after 3-4 daughters, the fifth child is a son or something like that. And you can see that for them, they keep going because they have to have a son. This is where they might get it from. And life is difficult and challenging for them because this is what they believe. Anyway, I don't necessarily subscribe to that same belief. But it doesn't mean I'm an atheist.
Okay.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, thank you. I was going to say... Oh, by the way, Sally has cleared up. Thank you, Sally, for clearing up the confusion with Dwayne and Dunn. She said it can be written either way, but
Thank you, Sally. She doesn't listen to me. Only listens to you, dear Sally.
We need a third opinion on that.
Yeah, I tried to explain, but she still calls it done.
It's done.
Done. It should be done.
Oh, in England we say done.
Yeah, only if it's about D-U-N-N.
Anyway,
thanks.
We're just about done here now.
Yeah.
Alright, so are we done?
You made it out like you had some comment.
I know, but I don't want to anymore. Comment later.
Since I commented so much, would you like to read another verse?
Okay. Text 32. O King, we wish all good fortune for you. You have no son, but if you pray at once to the Supreme Lord and ask for a son, and if you execute the sacrifice for that purpose, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will fulfill your desire. Text 33. When Hari, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices, is invited to fulfill your desire for a son, all the demigods will come with him and take their shares in the sacrifice. Powerful. Whenever a sacrifice is performed, it is meant for satisfying Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of the fruits of all sacrifices. And when Lord Vishnu agrees to come to a sacrificial arena, all the demigods naturally follow their master, and their shares are offered in such sacrifices. The conclusion is that the sacrifices performed are meant for Lord Vishnu, not for the demigods. So it seems King Anga is being told, don't worry, if you please the Supreme Lord, he'll fulfill your wish of having a son. Yeah, it's a big thing culturally. I don't know so much. I guess Western as well. Your son is the one that carries on the line. So for the king, he's getting stressed. Who's going to carry this on? If he has daughters, they'll get married and move out, as it were, of the line, and literally. And so it is the male carries that on. And then if you don't, literally that whole family tree comes to an end, you know. That's it. It's done. So it's interesting. And yeah, like, so for a king or for businesses, people that have family businesses or whatever, you know, they want to pass that on. I didn't understand that. It's sad though when it becomes, I mean, my experience, not my personal experience, but my cultural experiences, it can get quite messy. I know people back in the village. I didn't live in the village, but I know stories. Wives have been divorced or not even just left or whatever because they couldn't have boys, and they go on to remarry the husband, whatever, you know, for that son, you know, for that prodigal son, as it were. Yeah, it's sad in that way when it's done like that, or when you're made to feel less. Again, from experience, when you're at family events or this, and it's like, oh, that one, yeah, she got the one with the 3 daughters, you know, or the one with all the girls, as it were. Like it's something sad, you know, something to be pitied, regardless of if the girls go on to have a very good education, working, healthy, you know, good, sane body, mind. It's irrelevant purely because of the gender, which is interesting because this week is International Women's Week, and they have a big conference just kind of down the road-ish from the UN.
Just there last night. UN.
Yeah, that's where they're holding it, and So it's interesting, without opening up too much, but there is injustice, and just the way it's treated, like a lesser or inferior birth, as it were.
Yeah. Can I comment? Are you done?
All right.
I mean, it's a huge topic, and
Yeah.
I agree. It's also a controversial topic.
Yeah.
But you just said something that the gender is considered inferior. Yeah, and I guess my understanding is that it's not necessarily that the gender is inferior. It's just that according to now Shastra or culture, maybe we need to discriminate between which, because they are different. Theoretically, culture should be driven by Shastra, by scripture, but often there are cultural things that happen that could be misunderstood aspects of Shastra or something like that. But in general, the idea is that the genders dictate certain roles and responsibilities. So they may or may not be, what was the word that you used? You just used it and I used it, now I forgot it.
Inferior.
Inferior, yeah. So it may not be that the gender is inferior, it's just that the gender has different roles. In general, and I'm not saying that this is an absolute thing, but in general, men are considered more dominant, or at least domineering, and ladies are considered more submissive. This may be in certain ways for whatever reasons. It's according to body type. It's in general, you don't see women going out and lifting massive amounts of weight or doing the same exact things. You wouldn't pit a man against a woman in certain circumstances. Not that some women couldn't beat the heck out of a big man, no problem. But it's a generalization. So generally it's not an inferiority thing, it's just that they have different roles. And I often go to immediately the fact that a lady, women, people, souls in ladies' bodies have the most important, the superiority of all superiority is that a lady has all the capacity to bring another living entity into the world. So no man can do that without the presence of a lady. Now, of course, Shastrically it explains that the soul is carried in the man's body, but the harvesting of that soul, or the fructification of that soul, is done in the womb of the lady's body. So for me, there can't be any inferiority. It's not that one is more important than the other. You can't get reproduction. You can't get the continuity or continuousness of the species without having both. So, maybe there can be culturally created some idea of inferiority. I think this thing with girls versus boys is more of an Eastern thing, for sure, rather than a Western thing. But it's still important in the West. But maybe they don't hold on to it as much. But also it's important in the East because there are certain things that happen, especially in the East in India, because again, scripturally, the man is meant to continue with offerings and sacrifices and different homages to the devatas or to God on behalf of the departed family members. So that's how they continue to make progress after death. I don't think most people even are aware of that. It's degraded to a mundane thing of gender. Oh, the man is meant to, like you said, take over the business or carry on the family line. But shastrically, that's not the point. It's just that men generally were the ones who would take on the responsibility of continuing to do, I think it's called pinder, or offerings to the forefathers so that they continue to make spiritual progress even after death. And that service was assigned to the son. So therefore you would want to have a son. But there may be many things, and maybe you'd like to comment if any of you have any thoughts on this, please. We love for you to be outspoken and voice your opinion. What? What?
Let's read on.
Oh my Lord. Okay, why don't you read another one? Because I keep giving purports to the purport.
Yeah, well, exactly. We need to hear from Prabhupada.
Or maybe we stop there.
Where?
Here. Well, anyway, no problem.
Oh, do you want to stop now?
Well, I'm just saying, it's been a lot for people to take in and think about.
There's been too much. Alright, let's stop, right?
That's what? Stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just stop everything.
We stopped with 33, right? So next we'll pick up with 34.
No, we stop. We're going to stop. Yeah, 34.
I'd bewildered her. Okay. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Please, please think, comment, like, subscribe, and share. We're back and I'm in trouble. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.